Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation in Washington, D.C. Joining me for today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are extremely excited about today's career topic, automotive technology, sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes. UTI is the country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided mission-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time out of today's presentation, let me just refer you to any questions at all or inquiries to the Imagine America website, www.imagine-america.org, or please feel free to call or email either Lee or myself.
Automotive technology careers are some of the most popular career programs at some of our schools. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified automotive technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner on today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute. Joining us today to discuss in detail the looming automotive technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background.
Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very quickly outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with questions and answers included. Once we finish these remarks, we move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the chat feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 2:25 p.m., I will then present any questions offered by the participants. We will address those questions as best we can and give you written responses and follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any more time away from today's presentation, let me turn the session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you all very much. Good afternoon to everyone, and glad you could join us today. I'll get right into our agenda. It's threefold. The first portion of the agenda is challenges facing the workforce, followed up by opportunities in the transportation industry, and then finally, Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. I always like to start off talking about the changing workforce. Back in the 20th century, we were very much an agricultural manufacturing economy, as you can see on the graph in front of you. That's changed considerably in the 21st century. We've now become more of a service-oriented economy. And I think you can all attest to this. If you think about, you own a home, you own your car, you own appliances, think about how difficult it is to find people to work on things, and much less finding someone who's highly qualified. And so we're very much geared to service. And also we want things now. You think about our banking, we have drive-throughs and the ATMs and all those type of things. We very much moved to that kind of an economy. You'll also notice agriculture has dropped quite a bit, and you say, wow, are we not going to have enough to eat? But actually what that indicates is that technology has really taken over, because we feed more people with that 2% than we do with the 41%. But the majority of that 41% has gone into the service side, because we have to have people that can work on the technology that we've created today. There was a survey done in 2016 through the Boy Scouts of America. There were 150,000 students that were surveyed, and they were asked, how many of you would like a skilled trade career? And as you can see, 3% said, yes, sign me up. They were really excited, 3%. But we asked those same students, how many of you would like a STEM career? Over 45% said yes. Wow, that sounds exciting. That's what I want to do. There lies the disconnect. We have students that do not see the connection between STEM and skilled trades. Unfortunately, we have educators who also have that same disconnect. They don't see that together as well. So that's what we're trying to overcome as educators, is trying to educate students that, yes, skilled trades and STEM are one and the same. I like to talk about STEM growth because it's amazing how fast it is growing and how much faster it's growing than non-STEM careers. You know, at one time, there was probably, STEM careers, non-STEM careers. It was probably more towards non-STEM. Then it was about half and half. Now you're starting to see more and more jobs becoming STEM jobs. But look at the difference in salary. Over double what you can expect to make in a STEM job as opposed to a non-STEM job. That is amazing to see that figure. It just really stands out there. We go further, we look at the STEM occupations, and we look at their median annual wages. Now, this was taken from 2019, so this was just last year. You can see that over double the amount of money yearly that students can make, or that people can make, in STEM occupations versus non-STEM occupations. I talk about this a lot, is in the fact that a little over 20% of the jobs that are in the country today even require a bachelor's degree or higher. Only 20%. And once again, only half of the students in this country right now that have a college degree, either they don't need it or they're not using it. Almost half. That's pretty sad when you think that they put in a lot of time, effort, and money to make this happen, and then came out on the other side thinking, gosh, I didn't even need that. But they spent all that money. So they still got their student loan debt to worry about. They just didn't pick their career pathway wisely. And we're going to talk about that here in the next few minutes on how we can help them with that. I talk a lot about the old SMART versus the new SMART. So you say, what is the old SMART? Well, the old SMART was get into the best school you possibly can. Don't matter what it is. As long as it's a good school, you get in there. And then after you get there, then you got to figure out what you're going to do. You got to change majors here and there. I think, myself, I changed majors 3 times when I was in college. And I'm sure maybe some of you did the same thing. And then once we finally settle upon a degree, then we get our degree, and then we come out the front door with our degree in hand going, here I am, world, hire me. And that just isn't working any longer. And we look at that and we say, that is so ridiculous. Who would do that? Well, we just had an admissions scandal where parents were paying a lot of money to get their students into the so-called prestigious schools so they could get a prestigious degree, I guess, and paid the consequences for it. And what's even sadder about that is the students, for the most part, didn't even want to go to school in the first place. So that's really a sad story all the way around. The new SMART is, first thing we got to do is find out, what does the student want to do? I always ask counselors and educators when I'm visiting with them, what's the one question we ask every little kid in this country? What do you want to be when you grow up? We ask every little kid that. But we stop asking them. I challenge counselors all the time. Hey, the next time your sophomore or junior walks into your office, say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Of course, they're going to look at you like you just insulted them because they're already grown up, But we don't ask that question any longer. We want to find out what they're. I used to love saying your passion can be your paycheck. I stopped saying that now because what if you're not very good at your passion? So instead, let's find out, what are students good at? What do they like to do? Then we want to find out, what program do they need? Do they need a bachelor's degree? Do they need an associate's degree? Do they just need competency-based credentials? What do they need? So we can pick that career pathway for them, and then find out what school that they're going to need for that. You know, why go to the university to get a bachelor's degree when they could do the same thing at a trade school and get the skills that they need? So that's the old smart versus the new smart, and that's the way we need to think when we're talking to students. The other problem we have is parents, because parents are still of that old mindset. So we have to educate them as well too. That and parents can be tough, but we have to educate them right along with the student that this is best for their son or daughter. The rule of 1-2-7. I use this often. It's one of my favorites. If you add 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10. So out of 10 careers that are available today, right now, only one requires an advanced degree, meaning like a master's degree. 2 require a bachelor's degree. 7 out of 10 careers that are available today only require an associate's degree or a competency-based credential, meaning a diploma or a certificate of some type. 7 out of 10. Yet, we are pushing students into colleges and universities at a 70% clip. So you see, we're doing just the opposite of what the economy is dictating to us. And so we're not doing these students any service at all. We're doing them a disservice because we're setting them up to fail. Or we go back and they're going to have that bachelor's degree all right, and they're not even going to need it, or they're not going to use it once they do get out. We have to understand, we have to work with parents and students and other educators to make them understand that skilled trades and STEM are one and the same. They go hand in hand. A STEM career combines all 4 of those components, in a problem-solving environment. Post-secondary education does not mean university for all. We have to get out of that mindset. We have that mindset now where, oh, you have to have a college degree. Oh yeah, we don't even put it on the same level with the others. So you're not going to get a college degree. Oh, well, I'm sorry. But we have to get out of that mindset. The other thing we got to do is quit using the word college altogether. Post-secondary education is the wording we need to be using, because when you say college, they think USC, UCLA. They think all these schools. They're not going to think UTI. They're not going to think cosmetology school. They're not going to think these. And then it's like, oh, we'll go to one of those schools. When in reality, all the schools are equal. It just depends on what does the student want to do? What do they want to be when they grow up? And then finally, competency-based credentials are what employers are looking for in the first place. They want to know, what do you bring to the table to them? What do you have to offer, that's going to make their company better, that's going to make their business better? That's really the bottom line here. The second part of our agenda, opportunities in the transportation industry. No matter what vehicle you're looking at, whether it's a car, truck, ATV, boat, motorcycle, I don't care. They're rolling computers. There's just no other way to describe them. The technology in these vehicles is amazing. I know when I bought a new car last year, I bought a Volvo XC40. I had an hour tutorial on how to use it. I mean, you didn't have that before. They toss you his keys and say, here, see ya. Now you have to have tutoring to show how to use the car. Pretty amazing how far we've come with the technology. But the best part about it is this technology is vital. I wonder how many lives have been saved by a backup camera. We've all heard the horror stories of somebody backing out of their garage and backing over a child, maybe their own child. Now with the backup cameras, and they are so clear now, you can see everything there. Or the blind spot indicator. We've all been caught on that one. We've all been honked at for trying to pull back in the lane. There's a car sitting there we didn't see. With the blind spot indicator, we don't have that problem. The voice activation, that allows us to keep our hands on the steering wheel. I can go on and on. These are life-saving technologies that are on these vehicles. But the problem with it is, who are we going to have work on these things? I read an article not too long ago that farmers are trying to buy older equipment. They don't want to buy the brand new stuff now because the technology, they can't work on it like they can their old their old John Deeres and their Farmalls and all those tractors and things. They can't work on the new stuff, and they can't find people to work on it, and they can't afford downtime out of their fields. So they're trying to find older stuff so they can avoid that, and that's sad. We need technicians to work on these things. There are over 1.3 billion vehicles on the road worldwide, over 273 million just here in this country. So is it any wonder that we're going to need 1.1 million technicians by 2028? I mean, that's only 8 years away. That's crazy to think about, but it's true. We have to fill this gap. And right now, the average age of a technician is about 56 years of age. You know, they're getting ready to retire. What are we going to do? Where are we going to find these people? And then finally, the third part of my agenda today is Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. UTI, we are the largest school in the motorsports industry. We have 12 campuses across the country. We employ over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their field of study, and we mean that into their field of study. Going to work for McDonald's does not count. We get them into their chosen field. We have over 220,000 graduates in our 55-year history. We've been around a while, and we've got this figured out. We know what we're doing here. The training programs we offer: auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. We offer 8 different disciplines, so we can offer a variety of options for students that are wanting to get into the transportation industry, and maybe they don't want to do it in one specific area, they want to do it to another. So we try to offer all those options to them as much as we possibly can. Very much industry-aligned technology. We have the alliances with the manufacturers. We know how important that is for that marriage between the two. We offer the the online classroom plus the hands-on, the blended learning. A lot of schools are having to go to blended learning now. We didn't, because we were already doing it. Yeah, we had to change how we're doing it a little bit, and I'll talk to you about that in the next slide or two. But we've made it possible, for students to continue their education even in the pandemic that we're in right now. Our education model is very simple. We do 1 course at a time, 3 weeks at a time. That way a student can focus on what it is that they want to do, so we don't overwhelm them with too much information at one time. When they show competency in that area, then we can move on to the next level, and then the next level. That's where we get the competency-based credentials. So students learn it, and they do it until they get it down. So a very efficient way to teach students. As I said a while ago, we're up and running. We're alive and well. Yes, we've had to go under CDC compliance, which we've done quite well, but we have assigned doors for students to come in and out. We do temperature checks. We require the face coverings. We have reduced our lab sizes so that way we can keep the social distancing. We encourage hand washing and disinfecting, and we disinfect our labs constantly, keeping everything clean. And then of course we offer phone support. So we're able to do this and have our schools open. And we're one of the few post-secondary schools that's really doing that and doing it very well. As you all know, students are tired of virtual. I mean, we got that lesson last spring, trying to get kids involved. And now this fall, it's happened again. So by offering the labs, we give students an opportunity to get that hands-on that they crave so badly, but yet we're still able to do it in a safe environment. We're working hard out there with schools as much as we can. We have field representatives out there that are offering live and in-person presentations of all kinds. We're trying to, the need for technicians has not gone away just because of the pandemic. If nothing else, it's increased. So we have to have students. So we're visiting schools where we're allowed to come in. If not, then we're offering the virtual aspect. We're giving virtual tours. Our virtual tours are amazing. They are so detailed. It's like you're right there. So we offer you those opportunities. All you have to do is contact us, and we can make that happen for you. We have a national presence. That's important for a couple reasons. Number one, it's hard to find a dealership. You walk into it and say UTI and they don't know who we are. That national presence is important. And another reason why that's important for students to get employed, because a student may go to school in Long Beach, but they want to go to work up in Los Angeles. Well, even though that's fairly close, but still there's a little distance there, they can still do that. But more like, what if a student from Missouri wants to go to Long Beach and then come back to Missouri? Well, they could do that because we have those kind of connections. As I said before, we're very much industry aligned. We have over 35 industry partners out there. And you can see these are the big dogs of the industry, the BMW, the Lexus, the Honda, these Peterbilt, these kind of companies. This is who we work with to get our students employed. As I say often, we're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students to go to work for these people. This is where the good careers are. This is what we strive for. The one thing that we really do a good job of is displaying our past graduates and showing the success stories that come out of it. You can see these three here. They have a couple things in common. Number one is you see smiles on their face because they're doing what they love to do. But the other part is they all had to work their tail off to get there. We're not easy. We don't pretend to be easy. We want students prepared for the industry. And when they come out, they go into a well-paying career and something that's going to last their entire lifetime. So we're very proud of that. You know, we say, over 4 out of 5 of our graduates get hired in the industry. And we have some areas where they're even placed higher than that, but that's kind of our disclaimer there. We have grants and scholarships and loans that we offer, over $15 million. I think that's jumped now to almost $16 million in grant scholarships that we offer. And then, of course, we have loans available as well, and I'll talk about that on the next slide, but to make school affordable. As I said, we're Title IV funded, so students fill out a FAFSA to see what they can qualify for, whether scholarships, whether housing grants, institutional grants. We even have third-party programs to help students in case of an emergency because things happen. And then we have over 4,500 TRIP employers. That's tuition reimbursement incentive programs. These programs have proven, well, in my opinion, that they're the reason why our graduation rate is climbing. Because I don't know about you guys, but we have a heck of a time getting students to fill out scholarship applications. And I know you do too. But by offering the TRIP package, and this package could be up to $25,000, $30,000 that they get offered, but it's when they complete the program. And they don't hand them a check for that amount. Instead, they give them incremental amounts of money. Like every pay period, they get an extra $200 or $300 or $400, and they can use that money to pay off their student loans. So in essence, then they can go to school free, but they're not handed to them. They have to earn that. They have to have good attendance. They have to have good professionalism, good grades, so these employers will want them. I know what you do. I'm a retired educator, so I know what you guys do on a daily basis. I understand it completely. And that's what we're here for. We're here to partner with you any way we possibly can. We want to host your students at open houses. We can come visit your school. If you don't allow us to visit right now, we can do virtual for you. We can do virtual tours, virtual presentations, whatever we can. We also do professional development. I do a lot of those for people. We can do those virtually as well. Anything we can do to help you with your students. We can be reached on social media. See, we're Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, our website, uti.edu, and of course, you'll see us on television as well. Many different ways to reach out to us. And then finally, this is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me by phone. Please, I got my phone with me. It's permanently attached to my hip. So reach out to me. You can email me. I also have an Instagram account too. You can reach out to me as well. But we just want to help you any way we possibly can. I work with counselors all over the country, and we definitely want to work with you all as well too. So thank you so much for your time today. I know you're busy people. Appreciate the effort, and I hope that you picked up something from this presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Coyle. I think we will now be opening up the question and answer portion of this presentation. And it looks like we do actually have a question that's came in from a counselor in the Los Angeles area that wants to know if we wanted to talk to one of the Universal Technical Institute's local reps, should we go to the Universal Technical Institute website or contact you, Dr. Coyle, directly?
Well, you can do it either way. You can go onto our website and you can make an inquiry, tell them what you're looking for, and then they can route that to the right individual. Or you can just come straight to me, and I know, like for instance, we have on the call with us, we have Gabe Hernandez and Dan Sweeney, who are regional admissions directors in Southern California. And what I would do is if I got something, in fact, that even happened on the first session today. I got an email and I forwarded it straight to those guys, and then they get it to their the proper representative. So that's how we can do it for you.
Hey, Dr. Coyle, this is Bob Martin again. Real quick, got a question that has to do with comparisons. Can you give us very quickly a cost comparison and a program length comparison between Universal Technical Institutes and community college programs?
Absolutely. I get this question all the time, because the first thing they'll say is, well, gosh, community college, I can go really cheap, or I can go free or whatever, and I get that all day, I understand, but you have to look at the whole picture. You're going to be at the community college for 2 to 3 years, no doubt about it. UTI, you're going to be there 10 to 17 months. And so while you're still going to school at the community college, you're out and working coming out of UTI. So when you figure all that in together, we are very comparable in costs to the community college. But then you add that other asset to it, and the trip employers. That's been huge for us, because potentially a student could go to school free if they're willing to work hard and earn it. And so I have I see very comparable costs between us and community colleges.
And I don't normally jump in, but just think of the other comparative advantage, and that is all the relationships that you folks have with employers and the people who are going to be bringing those kids on when those young people graduate.
Exactly, because we do have that communication. I mean, we're not happy just because you graduate. We're happy when you get into a chosen field. I have graduates come up to me all the time, and the first words out of my mouth are, "Where are you working? What are you doing now?" Because I want to hear those success stories. And so that's important to us.
Great job as always, Dr. Coyle. We really appreciate your time. Before closing, let me just remind our audience that the foundation will be compiling and forwarding a set of questions, anything we have now and anything that may come in after we close this out in some way. And we'll be providing those to all the participants. Secondly, we've recorded this session, and it will go out to all the registrants. We'll also place this on our website, which is www.imagine-america.org, and there are download instructions for you to pull this up and listen to it again if you want to. I'd encourage you to do that. The foundation is going to be conducting a follow-up survey to see if there's any other things that we might think about covering in the automotive technology area, and then we'll get back to Dr. Coyle with any ideas that come up. But before closing, I really want to thank each of the participants out there in Southern California for taking time out of your very busy, hectic schedules, particularly in the challenges that we're facing today. I'd like to thank Dr. Stephen Coyle for sharing with us today a presentation, and encourage each and every one of you to contact him directly with any questions regarding UTI or his presentation. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Lee Doubleday, and myself, I want to thank you and say goodbye. Please be safe.